May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Welcome to QuantBox Daily. Today is November 29th, Tuesday, November 29th. Hello, friends. How are you today? Having a nice day? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's take a look. So what I'm going to do today is something slightly different. Instead of going through QuantBox and then going through all the technicals, let's go through QuantBox technical, QuantBox technical, QuantBox technical, right? Because sometimes it's difficult to like what does QuantBox say? And like you're sort of watching my QuantBox stuff and you're looking at the analysis. Let's tie them together, shall we? Okay. So euro dollar, sell. Cool. Nothing new there. Look at that nice, lots and lots of pink/red in the score summary. From a news perspective, looks like our usual day of we've got some inflation rate data coming from Spain. Okay. We got a speech, some CPI coming out of Germany. Okay. So this is a medium and high tier news. Then we got quite a bit of high tier news out of Germany this morning. Okay. Some more high tier news. Then later on in the session, some low tier news. So there's a bit of news to pay attention to. Okay, well, let's take a look at the charts. Some more medium and low tier news. So as usual, we got quite a bit of news coming out of the Eurozone. Nothing new there. Some more high tier news. So a couple of hours from now. Let's get up to the US session. Lots of inflation data today. So just keep an eye on that. Let's get through this. There's like more days. So there's nothing coming out of the US today. Oh, interesting. All right, cool. So there's euro dollar. Let's take a look now. The daily chart projecting a move higher. Now let's take a look at the technicals. So we remain above the profit-taking zone. As you can see, every single time we come up here, we get pushed down. Every time we come down here, we get pushed up. So it feels very rangy, doesn't it? Okay. And you look at the 4-hour chart and you're like, yeah, that looks pretty rangy. Okay. So you can see yesterday we shoot up and we come straight back down. So no coming up role reversals, no higher highs, higher lows, definitely range bound. But also as you break back into the range, you're not testing those levels as resistance. So coming back down to support, which means that we expect this to continue bouncing up and down. My stance of looking for a trend remains. I'm not looking to buy up here. Okay. If I was a bull, I should have been a bull down here. No point in waking up right now and saying, "Oh, look, price is so high. I guess I better buy." Should have been awake down here. And I wasn't a bull down here. So I'm not a bull over here, right? Now, in terms of being a bear, do I have any opportunity to sell? No, I don't. Certainly not. Yesterday we were discussing it wouldn't it be nice to get a lower low, lower high, seeing as, I think what we opened up in a bearish sell zone this week, and we haven't got that. Okay, price shot up, price came down, but no structure to what's going on right now. Okay, you can clearly see that, right? So let's just leave non-structured trading alone, and let's see if we can find something else where that's a bit more inviting. Here we have pound dollar. Now, pound dollar coming through neutral, and you can see why. Look at that mix of green and red on the score summary. We got some pound news coming out, medium and low tier news today. Early on the session, much later in the session, a speech. Okay. Keep an eye on the speeches. And then, there is some USD news. I guess I wasn't able to see that. So we got some medium and low tier news of the States much later. Okay, that's more of a New York session. So, yeah, that's fine. And then tomorrow, and sort of more pound news tomorrow. We'll leave that for tomorrow then. Okay, cool. So neutral on the fundamental bias. Let's take a look at our charts on pound dollar. So pound dollar, we remain up here. Now, yesterday I pointed out that it's interesting how price breaks this resistance, but doesn't pull down to that support. Now, you can see here, price currently coming off of a wick over here. I would like to see price actually come down and test this support over here. I still said that if price stays above here, makes a lower high, don't expect the support to hold down here because that lower high indicates bearishness. Now, looking at the 4-hour time frame, did we get that? Well, you got this sort of, if you compare this high to that high, you'd say this high is lower than that high, but I actually think this entire thing is one move. Also, pay attention to the fact that over here, price broke this support. Now, yesterday I said, don't worry about the 21 EMA, and you can see why, just completely useless. So price breaking this resistance, and then price breaking this support. Now, notice how this candle doesn't wick into that broken support, which means it doesn't turn that broken support into resistance, resulting in price down here being neutral. Now, if you look at the left-hand side here, you can see that price coming down, closing at this wick over here, price then popping up, and price now coming down. All right, so technically, the pound dollar is still technically bullish, okay, because we haven't broken support and support hasn't become resistance. However, I'm not going to buy up here. And my reason is because if I was a bull, I should be buying down here. And right now, I should be looking to see, do I need to get out of my trade? This is not a good place to be going long and strong. Okay. However, we are still bullish. Now, what could happen today? Well, this is obviously support, and there's clearly some resistance over here. So does price come down, hold this support, and then come back up? That's a total guess, absolute guess. What I prefer is, instead of making guesses like that, let's rather look for a trend and say to ourselves, okay, well, what have we got in the 15-minute time frame? We got nothing, right? Now, first of all, if you were looking to buy, you want price to be closing at support. You can see here's the 4 o'clock candle, not closing at support. So no reason to go to lower time frames. But if you ignore that and you go to lower time frames, look at your 15-minute chart. Not really saying much at this present moment in time, is it? Okay. So from that perspective, and you can see your 21 EMA, sorry, your 21.55 sort of edging down. But again, be careful, because price closed at support down here. So if you're going to sell a lower high, make sure price made a lower low, and price closing at support, not indicative of a lower low. Worst case scenario, I guess I'm wrong, and this all breaks down, fine. Medium tier scenario, that just bounces around inside here. And then best case scenario, if you're a bull, price comes down, finds support somewhere, and then goes up. Okay. Again, just realize where you're buying. Me personally, positions everything. Right now, not in position. Waiting on, what, a couple of days, we get new pivot points. Okay, cool. So if you treat the position with respect, then you would have been in down here because price was in position for a buy. You would have identified supports. And again, we didn't do this because we were bears at the time because of QuantBox. We would have identified supports over here and a profit-taking zone, or alternatively over here, right? Or even this further one over here. You can see there. Look at that support over there. Those would have been, and that was out of position, right? So this one over here, much better, but still verified on lower time frames. Those would have been better situations to buy. Over here, this is where you let that trade run, unless you're a bear, in which case right now you're waiting for opportunities to sell. Now, if we look at this from a next month perspective, based on how things stand at this moment in time, and anything can change, of course, the other alternative is that price doesn't come down and find support. Price sort of bounces around, comes up and closes some kind of resistance, and that turns it bearish. We're looking for price to break support and support to become resistance, to indicate we want to sell, right? From a positional perspective. Now, if that doesn't happen and everything continues being bullish, then next month's pivot points, we're going to be opening up in position for a sell. It doesn't mean that price goes down next month. Price could find a rally into the end of December. But if that takes place, price would not have come off any bullish pivot points, which means holding out in your bearish bias could pay off, but it just might take some time. If you've bought down here, good for you. That trade runs and you make pips on the up and the down. In the meantime, though, we can agree this 4 o'clock candle not closing at support. Okay, not closing at resistance either. Roll reversal up there. Strange roll reversals, but yeah, roll reversal, that was support. Okay, you can see price went up. Over here, that was support, price went up. So you got these sort of price behaving like market, potential role reversals here. Can price close there? Looking at this, 21 there, 55 there, sideways markets. Yeah, let's see what happens. Those are the different scenarios and how I think they could play out. Moving on to USD CAD, we've got ourselves a buy, as we have had for some time. You can see, look at that nice, beautiful green. And there's quite a bit of Canadian news coming out later, some medium and high impact news. So pay attention to that if you're a CAD trader. In terms of technicals, looking at the USD CAD, here we have, okay, cool. On the daily time frame, you can see very much sideways still. Look at that 21.55, okay? Your 100 is flat. Everything's flat over here. You're not making higher highs. You're not making lower lows. Everything's just bouncing around flat. There's your H4 time frame. I still said I would like to have seen price closing at support. The fact that it didn't means I expect price to come all the way back down because this is currently sideways. Look at that 21.55, right? We want to trade a trend. So from a daily perspective, give us some indication of trend. From an H4 perspective, give us some indication of trend, okay? So nothing, and in terms of buying, you can see we have not had that higher high, higher low situation take place yet, and not looking amazing on the daily time frame either, okay? When you see a trend and how it stands out, if we look back in time to down here when we got some incredible bullishness, let's take a look and see what that looked like. Okay, so you can see here, look at the daily time frame, look at that support across there. Okay, beautiful. You can see here, if we just move sideways again, look at that over there, closing of the support over here, right? You can see here, look at this green candle here, look at this red candle here, breaking out, closing at support over there. Okay. So you can see how, if we look at this right now, and notice how that was a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now we look on the right-hand side, what do you see? Higher high, higher low. Okay, where's the support left-hand side? Yes, profit-taking zone, but where's the role reversal? Okay. You could also break it down on a 4-hour time frame as well. So sideways, right? And we've been sideways for a while now. Aussie USD, let's take a look. Neutral. Okay, nothing to worry about in terms of Aussie news because that session is behind us. Aussie USD, jumping into that. Let's take a look. See, we remain at our profit-taking zone. Nothing's changed there. And we remain sideways on a 4-hour time frame. Let's not even discuss this any further, right? You guys can clearly see why that's not something we'd like to trade, okay? What we're looking for is you know, give us some direction out of this range. And that would be a welcome invitation. New pivot points coming out. We'll see how that's what that means for us. Again, we could see a rally take place and we could sell end of December. We'll have to see what happens in the coming days. Back to QuantBox, New Zealand dollar USD coming through with a buy, same as yesterday. And you can see some red, but mostly green in that summary there. The Kiwi session is behind us, so nothing news-wise there. Taking a look in terms of New Zealand dollar USD, remember a buy? I don't think so. I don't think so. However, you can see price is behaving like a trend. Price breaking out, pulling back, finding support. The problem is, if you bought down here at Asia, what did you buy off of? I guess on this time frame, nothing. But if you saw price closing there and you thought weekly M2, could you have found some kind of support over here? Where's your higher low? Notice how price breaks out of this, but doesn't pull back to support. And you've seen these things happen. When they take place properly. Price will break up, make a little higher high, pull back down, tuck into support, and then you aim for away, right? That didn't happen. What does that tell you? It tells you that price is going to come back down, okay? Price is going to come back down. False little rally. You can also see here on the H4 time frame, price didn't close at any role reversal support. Price just closed down here and came off nothing really, except for a 55 EMA and a weekly M2, which isn't really nothing, but still, the fact that we haven't got a higher low, look at this, look at down here, see price comes down, look at the sort of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then no higher low. Okay, pay attention to things like that. Little tiny things like that really tell you a lot about what the market's up to. So what, price is going to come up, find resistance and come down? Possibly. We are quite far above that profit-taking zone, and I would be careful of buying up here. Okay, just pay attention to price. A bit different compared to, I think we sort of see Kiwi dollar behaving very similar to, we'll look at pound dollar in a second, where we haven't got a solid range. It doesn't look the same as Aussie USD. At least we've got some movement inside here. So maybe this is the one you're keeping an eye on today. But again, position-wise, very, very high. But are we currently bearish? Well, price hasn't broken support and support hasn't become resistance yet. So technically still bullish. But, are we coming off support? Challenging situation. When we find ourselves in dodgy situations like this, it's best just to sit back and say that it's not, often when you don't see something on the chart, you look at the chart, you say, I have no idea what's going on. You blame yourself for saying, I'm not experienced enough to read what's going on. No. If you can't see what's going on clearly, then it's because there's nothing going on. Chill, wait, take a moment. Aussie yen neutral. Let's take a look at our Aussie yen. Okay, so yesterday we drew this blue box. We said, right, wouldn't it be nice if we could have price breakout and then come back up and close resistance? We have to wait for this daily candle to close to do that. Let's see where we are in Aussie yen tomorrow. Okay, we've got to wait for the daily candle to close. But maybe this is something to look forward to. Perhaps this is a break of a range, pull back to resistance, and this is an opportunity for us to sell tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Okay, but for now, we've got to wait a little bit longer. We asked for a setup. Looks like it's happening. Let's wait for this daily candle to close and then see where we are tomorrow morning at London. CAD yen, we've got neutral coming through, and let's take a look and see. CAD yen again. Remember that CAD news later. So CAD yen still at a profit day. We actually dropped down further yesterday. In fact, there we are yesterday. Dropped down further yesterday. Still at a profit-taking zone. You're not selling down here. Okay, and you don't get any, there are no higher highs and higher lows. There's nothing to buy. Okay, cool. In terms of euro yen, we're going to buy in euro yen. Okay, so euro yen, let's take a look. I don't think so. Look at that sideways market. Let's take a look at the H4 time frame. Where's your higher low? I don't see it. And if I don't see it here, I don't even want to look for it downstream. Here's the reason why I don't. Because the thing with lower time frames is you get a lot more moves, right? So inside these green candles, you get all kinds of higher highs and higher lows and moving averages and what looks like roll reversals. Strategic view, far better from higher time frame. Okay, once you've got that view on an H4 time frame, what you're doing is you're saying, right, I've got price at a roll reversal, and all you're doing is just verifying on lower time frames that everything is still in that bias. So if you find a bullish roll reversal on lower time frames, just verifying that price hasn't broken support, support hasn't become resistance, price hasn't closed at resistance. Those are the things that you're doing lower time frame. You're not refinding the signal. You're just confirming that the signal is still valid. But looking for an opportunity on the daily time frame, looking for an opportunity in the H4 time frame, that makes sense. And then taking it downstream. Okay. So right now, looking at the daily time frame, we don't have that lower high. Okay. Right now, on the H4 time frame, we don't have that lower low, lower high, currently ranging. And of course, euro yen coming through as a buy. No. We've broken 21 and a 55, currently sideways. I mean, if you look at the day, you can see yesterday's daily candle did close at support left-hand side. Absolutely. So you could verify that and trade the range, but why would you want to trade a range? Why not wait for price to set up a higher high, higher low, and you can then trade a trend to make a lot more money? Your choice. So pound yen, I know it requires lots of patience, friends, but there's going to come a time when pips are going to fall out of the sky, and it's going to be beautiful, gorgeous, safe, consistent trading. We just have to be patient. Pound yen coming through the buy. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at our pound yen. Do we have anything that says higher high, higher low anywhere? No. Okay, cool. And pound yen, like coming down, we're not going up. Coming down to profit taking zone. Personally, and you know my view on the yen pairs, I've been waiting to sell these for a long time. Fundamental bias aside, I know that you'll make more money buying them than selling them because of the swap. But because of where they are from a yearly pivot point perspective, I'm not a fan of buying these. If I was a bull on the yen pairs, should have been a bull down here, down here, down here, down here, down here. Would have got a bit of a challenge over there. But up here, okay. So looking at this sideways, if I was a bull, I can't do anything. If I am a bear, then I can't do much either, right? You can see there, despite the fact we're moving down, where's my lower high over here? Why doesn't price break out of this range, come down, pull back up and close at resistance? Because we're ranging. In a range, you don't have a trend. And lower lows and lower highs, role reversals are trending things, okay? I'm going to leave this yen pair alone as well. Kiwi yen, buy lots and lots of green. Of course, I mean, the swap that you're making on a Kiwi yen long is beautiful. But again, something that should have been done last year or the year before last, actually. So here we are. Is this where I want to buy? No, not a chance, right? Not a chance. If I was in a buy from 2 years ago, would I be closing my trade? No, I'd still be making a beautiful swap. Right now, price coming off the profit taking zone. Can you buy this? You could be short-term long. Where's your higher high, higher low? Now you can see here, price again breaks out of this range, doesn't test resistance. Price comes all the way down, not find support, go all the way up, and it's going to come all the way down, going to bounce around a lot. Okay. The question is, how do you trade it consistently? Make sure that what you do today, you can do tomorrow, and you're going to make $5 today and lose $10 tomorrow, right? Okay, cool. In terms of our Swiss franc pairs, here's Euro Swissy. So a sell on Euro Swissy. Let's take a look at our chart. No, there's no need to even go any further. Euro Swissy, pound Swissy, neutral. Okay, let's take a look at our chart. Pound Swissy. And what do you got? No, not even going to look at that. Okay, you guys can see why, right? Aussie Swissy neutral. Let's take a look. No. Kiwi Swissy is a buy. Let's take a look at Kiwi Swissy. Why would I buy here with it's not trending? Not a chance. No ways, Jose. Where's my higher low? No, thank you. And CAD Swissy is a buy. Let's take CAD Swissy. Again, these are trades that should have been taken a long time ago, and they're still running. That's what these trades are. Okay, so you got price at the profit taking zone. We're now at MS2. Okay, cool. Where's my higher low? If I get a higher low, I can take a short-term trade. What's the target though? Monthly pivot point? No, that's cool. You got some resistance to pay attention to, which is why I'm saying get the higher low, because a higher low denotes bullishness. Until then, I ain't buying this. If you were long on the CAD Swissy down here back in 2020, okay, you've definitely had some pullback. Okay, that's for sure. It's eaten into your profits. But if we take a look at like Kiwi Swissy, okay, yeah, I guess it's also pretty mediocre. Not as nice as the yen pairs, hey? Yeah. Well, I guess that's the Swissy for you. Personally, I don't like the Swissy at all. But nonetheless, so that's the summary, right? What are we waiting for? Well, we're looking for some indication of trend in position, okay? Did we look at pound dollar? Did we look at pound dollar? What happened to pound dollar? I feel like we skipped pound dollar. We look at technicals in pound dollar? Yeah, we did. The whole sort of like, that's right. Okay, cool. Pound dollar is the one I'm paying attention to. So I'm not going to buy it, but from an exercise perspective, like, wouldn't it be interesting if we came down here and then came up there? I wouldn't buy it, okay, because I'm not interested in doing that because it's out of position. But like, wouldn't that be interesting? In terms of the best charts, none of them. Nothing stands out as like the best chart. Nothing stands out as like, I'm so keen to trade this. Nothing. Discipline is a trade as well, friends. You know, the nice thing is that we had a trade earlier in the month. We sold euro dollar and we made some pips. Since then, it's been pretty quiet. Well, that's just the way I trade, man. You know, not as frequent as most, but my results are way better than most. When I trade, I make money because I've got very strict rules, right? And I trade trends. So you can imagine selling up here and then running that down for the entire year. Now, if we were bullish over here and we were coming off roll reversals, I'd be long and strong. Not really what's happened down here, okay? But let's see how things develop. We're coming into new pivot points. We've got a new month coming ahead of us. We've been patient so far. We can stay patient. Just remind yourself that not losing money is the same as making money. If you see a trade, and I'm not, you don't have to follow my analysis. If you see a trade on the chart and you think you should take it, just remind yourself on some time frame somewhere, have a higher high, higher low, or lower low, lower high. And remember, if that higher high or if that lower high or higher low has taken place on a daily time frame or H4 time frame, it's a lot stronger than on, say, a 1 minute time frame. I wish you all the best, friends. Thank you for sticking with me through these really boring Forex times. But that's Forex, though, right? Forex isn't supposed to be exciting. It is rather boring, which is why we do other things. That's why we enjoy the time that Forex gives us. So have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.